NES games on Switch. This definitely is a thing. It sure has a lot of games on it. A lot of fodder on it. But what's this game? Is it the one game that matters the most? Whatever game could I be talking about? Oh, come on, you know it's Kirby. Kirby's Adventure is one of the greatest games ever made, no contest. I've been playing this game in some form for well over 20 years now, and it hasn't aged a day. How this game managed to introduce so many Kirby staples, pull them off, and have every single aspect of it work on just about every level is something I'm never going to be able to wrap my head around. Start to finish, it is a masterpiece. Sorry. I know you're here for a challenge run, and I'm giving you the Kirby fan Kirby gush, but I really wanted to get that out of the way. I guess you could say it came out of left field. No? Well, that's good, because today the goal is to beat Kirby's Adventure without pressing left. It's really, really easy to explain, so instead of lingering on the rules for a while, let's talk about how we're going to be moving Kirby around. Pressing right is not against the rules, but when we need to move left, we have some workarounds. Ultimately, what we'll be relying on more than anything else is Tornado. Kirby's Adventure, among many other things, stop, get out of Kirby fan gush mode, introduced copy abilities. And you would think because of that, they're all super easy to exploit, but believe it or not, the copy abilities all function pretty much how they're supposed to. And for the most part, they aren't the immediate cause of any kind of glitch. So how are we going to use Tornado? Well, it's simple. The direction Kirby faces when Tornado ends depends solely on what direction he's moving in. Meaning, if we have Kirby move right during Tornado, bump into a wall which pushes him to the left, he'll face left. At this point, we could slide kick, as I mentioned before, and be okay. Getting the positioning right for entering doors this way can be hard, but overall, this turned out a lot more fun than I expected it to. But that begs the question, how do we get Tornado in the first place? The first level it's available in is Ice Cream Island 1, and that's 4 whole levels and a boss fight away. Lucky for us, Kirby games have this nifty little feature that if you inhale 2 different abilities that can give you a copy ability, it allows you to get a random ability. It's called Mix, and in all of the games, it allows for some very fun strategies in higher level Kirby play. Yes, that is a thing, by the way, and Kirby games are complex enough to warrant high level play. But whatever, that's a different topic for a different day on a different video. Getting back on track, we very conveniently have these 2 enemies in the 3rd room that we can mix together to get Tornado pretty easily. It'll take time to set it up. Come on, almost. Oh, come on! Alright, for real this time. For real. I got it! But once you inhale both, it's all down to timing. Mix has the same order of abilities no matter what, depending on the 2 enemies that you inhale. So once you get the timing down, you'll have Tornado no problem. Come on. There we go! Easy! Similar to the Zero Inputs run for Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which I will never stop plugging, by the way, because that run was such a wild idea, and I'm so proud of what I accomplished. Anyway, similar to that, I'm not going to go into every nook and cranny with how these levels work. I'm only going to be covering the big stuff. Or, in this case, the entertaining stuff. The stuff I had to suffer through. Yeah, you're welcome. The hardest part of this run, for sure, is ignoring the impulse to press left. When I got to this part, for example, I've practically trained myself to automatically press left so I can run past the warp star to the Howl Room. Ignore the urge to press left whenever it comes up. It's hard, but, as they say, you gotta. Vegetable Valley is very straightforward, so instead of dragging it out, I'll skip to the Wispy fight. And while I was saying that, I beat Wispy. Okay. Moving on to Ice Cream Island, things are still relatively easy, so no. Get it back. No! Well, what now? Haha! You thought I needed to restart or something, but Kirby fan has just Kirby fooled you. Turns out we can actually get from here to the room with Tornado in it without pressing left. Surprisingly, that really worked out. Do not expect it to work out like that again, though. Ice Cream Island 3 is the first level of the run that legitimately gives us a hard time. Losing Tornado, most of the time, is not an option. Tornado is mostly invincible, so usually it isn't an issue, but some things break through its invincibility. Namely, this obstacle here, spikes. And if we tornado into these spikes, Tornado immediately vanishes, meaning we have to start over. There is very little room for error here, and it ultimately comes down to good positioning and timing of Tornado. This is very specific and made me really anxious considering how close Kirby gets to the spikes. And no, you can't advance without Tornado without later having to press left. There aren't any twisters, yes to name that, or mix opportunities before this point. But Kirby fan, can't you just float over the water at this point and not use Tornado? For the most part, Ice Cream Island 5 is pretty basic and harmless, with one major exception with this room here. Just one look at this mess, and you could see why this is going to be really, really difficult to get. For the unaware, Tornado cannot break blocks, meaning Kirby will have to float and exhale to break them. And if we want to reposition ourselves to the left, something we'll need to do, of course, we have to do so with Tornado. Making it all the more difficult are the bombers that will walk off a ledge after you break the block that's blocking their way, explode, and make you lose Tornado. There's even one at the very top for good measure that isn't blocked off and will, in fact, explode on its own. What you're watching is sped up footage of me trying to clear this room. It took me a long time. It was really fun. Although I have to make a special mention of this. How did that even happen? Moving on to Butter Building, a major question comes up. There's a switch to hit in the first level, which unlocks more of the world map. But the question that raises is, do we go for 100%? For those who went and watched the Return to Dreamland video, thank you, by the way, you'll know that when I do a run like this, I aim for 100%. So yeah, I'll be trying to get as many switches as I can. Besides, how hard can... Oh. Butter Building is the most difficult level of the run so far, no contest. The very first room, while not that bad, has tons of enemies everywhere that can make you panic and hit that disgusting left button. The first of the moving building segments is tricky too, but mostly because of the placement of the door. I got lucky and didn't have to spend too much time here though. Things start to get really hard once we get here though. We can't move left, so to go left, we need to use Tornado. Simple enough, stuff you already knew. Except that there's spikes here. So we need to watch out for those. They're on the ceiling and the floor. So we need to vertically space this perfectly. Even if we do that though, we run into the biggest problem of all. Blocks. There is no way to get past these blocks without breaking them, which, as we know, Tornado can't do. Meaning, we need to position this so not only does Kirby not hit the spikes, but he also has to end this facing left so that he can break the blocks. Meaning, he can't even hit the blocks in the first place. And if we mess this up, we go right into the spikes and lose Tornado. Since we can't turn around, since, you know, that's a left press. The solution is difficult to time, but for once really easy to understand. Kirby stands here, uses Tornado, and when he's at the very edge of the second platform, goes right. He hits the wall, moves to the left, and stops just before he hits the blocks. From here, you can just slide kick to break the blocks, and bam. I just cleared that, no problem. Cleared that, no problem. But the level isn't over, and while this next part sounds much easier than this one, it's certainly even more difficult. Not that's one. Pretend it doesn't exist for your old pal Kirby fan, okay? This is the difficult part. See, Bugsy is annoying because if you come in contact with him, he'll grab you and you'll lose your ability. Even during Tornado's invincibility periods, you trade. And since we can't press left, if you lose the ability in, say, the right corner, it's over. I learned a lot about the Bugsy fight during my many attempts at trying to beat him. Namely, two things. One, there are certain points during the fight where Bugsy can't grab Kirby. Notably when he's releasing the little ladybugs and when he charges into a wall and falls on the ground. far more interesting, though, is that the size of his grab Kirby hitbox is different from his hurt box. If you don't play fighting games, which you should, what this basically means is that even though he can grab Kirby at all times, if you hit certain parts of his body, he won't actually grab you. In this case, close to the very top of Bugsy's sprite is where you're safe. Knowing this, with a lot of patience, Bugsy will go down without you having to press left even once. Kirby hitboxes, everybody. Fighter Building 3 isn't that hard until this part here, which perfectly exemplifies how difficult doors are to get in this run. Simple things you take for granted when you can press every button on your controller. I sped this up because, I mean, come on, of course I'm going to speed this up, look at it. But unedited, it took me 3.5 minutes just to get from the starting position to the goal. The rest of Butter Building is, graciously, very easy and has no doors that take a needlessly long amount of time to enter, even though pressing one simple button does the trick easily. But I have to make the simple act of walking into a door challenging because I'm way too masochistic. Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright are pretty easy, especially considering they only have half a health bar each. They go down pretty quickly, and from there, we move to Grape Garden. And it's, uneventful, putting it nicely. We're at the 6th level, and there really hasn't been anything yet to... No! You gotta be kidding me, 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 you gotta be kidding me! Really? An unavoidable left press because of stupid water now? Well, if you've seen my 0 inputs for Kirby's Return to Dreamland video, I'm always going to... Wait, I've done that joke 3 times already? You'll remember that water was the killer of that run. At least 25 of the inputs had to have been from unavoidable water. It was obnoxious, and now we're here again. But you know what? As much as I want the bane of my existence toppled, we're coming back to this. I know, but I just have to talk about something. You do not, in fact, need high jump to get past Kracko Jr. There are several ways you can clear this without it. And in this case, we don't even need to press left. Whenever you exhale, Kracko Jr. stops in his tracks. It's a lot slower doing it this way than just using high jump, yeah, but the perk is that we get to keep our ability, meaning, of course, we save left presses. In general, though, I think this is so cool to watch. I love that Kracko Jr. operates on his own set of rules for all of those players who want to test themselves by not using high jump. It's given to you, but if you choose to ignore it, the game presents you with an entirely different obstacle to overcome, and... Oh. Am I in Kirby's Adventure Gush mode again? Sorry, I'll stop that. Someday. Maybe. Yogurt Yard 1 has a really fun falling section, but otherwise there's not much to say. Yogurt Yard 2, though?
The switch unlocked the museum, by the way. Keep this in mind.
Oh boy, the last room here is really tricky. I didn't bother going for the door down there just because this took me really long. Unlike most rooms, the wall to bounce off of in case you miss the door is really far away from the door. Case in point, once again, that the hardest part of stripping the left button away is entering stupid doors. Is what I would say if it weren't for this room in Yogurt Yard 3. No contest, this room scared me more than any other when I first saw it. I immediately knew this was probably possible, but I also knew that I'd be spending a lot of time in it. And I can hear you right now saying, I'm crazy, saying there's no way to get through this, or this, or this, without pressing left. Tornado can't do it. It's too wild and difficult to control. It's like a wild animal. Kirby is a ferocious, unstoppable, disorderly force of nature when he summons the power of the wind to throw himself across the room in any kind of direction. Give it up, for there is no end in sight. Only misery, pain, and disappointment. Never will you... Oh, look, it's done. Sorry about that. Being in a room with this many needles for so long gets you kind of, cuckoo. What? Okay. You think this run's been exciting up to this point? Cute. Be ready to mash that caps lock button and scream in the comments about how large Kirby fans' Kirby mind is. You ready? Yogurt Yard 5, nothing too difficult in a normal run. But what if we want to press the switch? You know, get ever closer to that 100% mark. Is it possible? Buckle up, kids, because we're about to go on an emotional journey together. To activate the switch to begin with, you need fire. This means we need to get rid of tornado, meaning we lose our ability to not press left. So what do? Well, first, clear the level like normal. As I said before, not too hard. Then we come back and enter this room with the cannon to the switch. Immediately, we need to get fire. Feel free to get rid of tornado before coming in here, by the way. And then wait for the Starman, no, not that one, to get very close, and then light it up. We don't even need to press left for this, but you need to be quick. Get rid of fire, get high jump, and run. Switch, press. But what about tornado? Now we're stuck with fire with no way to press left. Well, don't cry, viewers. When we enter this door, we're placed to the left of the door with Burning Leo and the Starman. No, still not that one. So all you have to do is wait for them to get really close to each other, abuse Mix, and get Tornado back. Was that necessary to advance? No, not really, but it was pretty cool, wasn't it? This is what's so great about going for 100% instead of any percent. You get to find stupid stuff like this. But if that's all the Kirby fan, Kirby excitement for one video, I'd be doing you all a disservice. Things are about to get wild. Yogurt Yard 6 is a really short, really easy level from start to finish, with the only remote challenge being keeping Hammer long enough to get to this point. But, you know, we need Tornado, so it's impossible, right? Cute. On the world map of Yogurt Yard, we have an arena unlocked that gets us Hammer. This is very much intentional design, so we take full advantage of it and get Hammer. Just make sure to be facing left when you inhale Bonkers, otherwise you can't leave. Anyway, run right to Yogurt Yard 6 and go through the level like normal. You actually don't need to hit left. Almost. Just run right, go in the door, break the blocks, hit the switch. Really easy. But here's the problem. We still have Hammer and no Tornado. And we can't pull off what we did last time with Mix Abuse, because there's still one left press after you hit the switch. Which means you're gonna have Hammer, not Tornado, underwater. Yeah, we need to press left. That and exiting the stage, other than the first time you clear it, places Kirby to the right of the door, so we can't use that either. What do? We have access to the Warp Star room now, so we're gonna go in there and warp all the way back to Ice Cream Island. This is because Butter Building and Grape Garden warp us to the right of the boss door, but Ice Cream Island does not. It actually boots us to the left. We only need to move right to advance through all of those. And up, but whatever. So we do that and get to Yogurt Yard. Remember this museum I mentioned earlier? Guess what ability is inside and is absolutely 100% by chance? That's right, through crazy luck, on the right side, which means we don't have to press left. There it is! Tornado! Oh, it's so beautiful. So blocky. So spinny. Is this what love feels like? To a desperate challenge runner, yes. Grab Tornado, beat Heavy Mole.
I wish there was something cool to say here, but tragically Heavy Mole is really easy.
And move on to Orange Ocean. Yes, the water level. Oh boy, let's hope this isn't another Onion Ocean, huh? Unfortunately, of the 6 levels in Orange Ocean, there are a whopping 0 switches we can press. Starting with the most frustrating, we are literally, and I really mean literally, I don't want anyone calling me a Kirby liar, pixels off of being able to hit the switch without pressing left. Today, I not only learned what love felt like, but also heartbreak. All because of Kirby's adventure. Thank you, Kirby. Orange Ocean itself wasn't as bad as I figured. Probably because, unlike Onion Ocean, we're not limiting ourselves to 0 inputs. Moving right is fine, which alleviates a lot of the stress from that run. Some rooms, such as this vertical room in Orange Ocean 2, where we need to go right to avoid stuff, and use Tornado to bounce back to pinpoint positions, were really interesting. In Orange Ocean 6, the most intense showdown of the entire game happened. Warning! Not for the faint of heart. Yes! Oh, are you kidding me? It's over! Why do you hate me, Kirby? Oh, that wasn't so bad. Here we are. I've been dreading this since I first came up with this idea, but it's time. Meta Knight, a boss we are not allowed to use Tornado in. In fact, we're locked to Sword. For mobility, Sword does literally nothing for us. Meta Knight is fairly agile and very reactive, meaning we're gonna have to play this really, really well if we want to win. The only plus is that this is the one part of the entire game where getting hit doesn't cost you your ability. In fact, you even keep your original ability if you lose, and when you win. So if we lose, it's fine, and once we win, it's fine. We just have to win first. Let's do this. Yes! It's over! Oh, that wasn't so bad. Now, let's grab that star rod piece and... Okay! For real this time. It's over. Moving on. Rainbow Resort 1 is pretty uninteresting, but once again, we can't hit the switch since Tornado doesn't break these blocks. But that's not what you're here to see. You're here to see Kirby fan and Kirby masochistic mode. So instead of going with the easy bottom door, I went with the hard mode. Yeah! And on the whole, it was uneventful. Nothing really happened. I took 3 hints against the rolling turtle, but none of it was hard. Getting this last one up was a little tricky, I guess. Look, I love Rainbow Resort, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing to really say for the sake of this specific run. It's a similar situation with Dangerous Dinner in the Return to Dreamland video, except instead of going over the final level there, I'll just comment that I love this callback, and that we can actually hit the switch, no problem. Then it's a sad, sad fight with Dedede. Tornado is really broken, alright? And the final boss. The Nightmare Orb, I'd imagine, would be really difficult for people who aren't overly familiar with this game. Luckily, I own way too many copies of this game and have played it way too many times, so this was easy. Actually, I had another advantage, considering I've done speedruns for this game. And moving right in front of the Nightmare Orb helps you clear it faster, which only requires you to press right. Speedruns are a form of challenge run, yeah? It all adds up? Good. And finally, the final battle against the final boss, Nightmare, brings finality to the run. No problems here, but I could try to put together a montage, kind of like what I did for Magalore. Give me a sec. Almost done, and... See, that wasn't so bad. nearly finished the run at the cost of my ability to hear sound, but that's okay. Kirby's Adventure is cleared with... Oh, right, there's a left press left over from Grape Garden 6. Hey, that wasn't even intentional. Unfortunately, I tried for way longer than I really should have to think of a way to clear this without pressing left, but it just isn't possible. This run has one left press. Ah, that's so annoying! I wish it was literally any number other than 1.
Wish granted! But be careful what you wish for. Use your, Kirby mind next time when thinking about your wording.
Okay. Wonder what that was about. Oh. So, if you don't mind, we need to move back in the video a little bit. How about... Yeah, the intro for Vegetable Valley. See, there's something I neglected to mention so that this video could still be remotely interesting. Kirby crashes on the ground with the warp star here, and he ends up to the right of the door. And we actually have no way of getting Tornado before this point, since it's literally the first screen of the game, so that's a left press. But hear me out, okay? It's the world map. Who cares? The levels are what you guys care about, right? So, I'm going to make Kirby fan Kirby history.
Oh, stop with that gimmick!
Split the results into multiple categories. Level left presses and map level presses, both of which have 1. So, the final number is 2. Unfortunately, that means it is not possible to clear Kirby's Adventure without pressing left. But the amount of times that you actually have to press left are so pitiful that I don't really care. If anyone can find a way to skip the Grape Garden 6 left press, I'll love you forever! More realistically, I'll pin your comment and plug your channel and probably subscribe. Now, it should be noted that, as speedrunners have discovered, you can technically clear the game as early as the 3rd room of the game by using the slope glitch and using stone underwater. This does technically save a left press, since we skipped Grape Garden 6, but the issue at hand is that we also skip most of the switches. You guys know me, I'm all about getting as close to 100% as I can, so this skip gets skipped. Yeah, I said it. And anyway, which sounds better? Beating maybe 1% of the game with 1 unavoidable left press, or beating 87% of the game with 2 unavoidable left presses? I'll leave that to you, but that's a pretty clean looking number if I do say so myself. Please like and subscribe, comment, ring that notification bell, and share the video. If you really want a style, move to the right while you're doing it. Just please don't move to the left. I literally spent the entire video trying not to move left. Don't do that to me, friends. Don't hurt me. Thank you for watching. Hey, I think my hearing's coming back.